In the farthest reaches of the Galatian sector, where the stars are sparse and the darkness profound, the warship Valkyrie's Sorrow drifted helplessly. Its hull, a patchwork of scars from recent skirmishes, bore the evidence of brutal combat. Inside, the atmosphere was thick with the scent of ozone and charred metal, a testament to the ship's dire circumstances. Captain Ilara Mivon lay slumped against the bulkhead in the dimly lit command deck, her uniform torn and blood-stained. Her breaths were shallow, the pain from her injuries merging with the despair she felt. She was the last of her crew, the rest lost to either the void of space or the relentless enemy fire. The Valkyrie's Sorrow was not just a ship, it was the last remnant of the 7th Galactic Fleet, now reduced to debris scattered across the sector. Her thoughts drifted to her fallen comrades, their faces momentarily flashing before her eyes, a grim parade of those she could not save. She shook her head, trying to clear the haunting images. Her duty wasn't over, not yet. Ilara reached for the communications panel, her fingers trembling as she dialed the distress frequency, reserved for the most desperate calls. "Mayday, Mayday. This is Captain Ilara Mivon of the Valkyrie's Sorrow. Coordinates: Mark July 22nd, 11, Galatian Sector. Severe casualties. Requesting immediate assistance." Her voice cracked, the weight of each word pulling her further into resignation. She repeated the message, each iteration sounding more futile than the last. There was no reply, only the static hiss of a dead channel. The silence of the cosmos was absolute, indifferent to her plight. As the hours slipped by, Ilara's hope dwindled. She considered her options, each bleaker than the last. Then, as she was about to shut down the communication system, a flicker on the screen caught her eye. It was weak, but it was there. An incoming signal. Struggling to sit up straight, she activated the visual feed. The screen sputtered to life, revealing the figure of an alien, unlike any she had encountered before. It had luminous, translucent skin and eyes like swirling nebulae. Its presence was both unsettling and mesmerizing. "I am Ilithia," the alien spoke, its voice a soothing melody that resonated in the confined space of the deck. "I received your call, Captain Mivon. Why do you seek the help of humans?" Ilara blinked, confused. "Humans? I was broadcasting on the general distress frequency. I didn't expect—" Ilithia interrupted gently. "The frequency you used is old, tied to ancient gateways. It reached us, an unexpected but not unwelcome surprise. We are not humans, but we know of them, and we understand your kind suffering." Ilara's heart pounded with a mixture of fear and relief. "We need assistance. I am wounded and my ship is failing. Can you help us?" "We can," Ilithia confirmed, "but our help comes with a request." "Anything," Ilara breathed, desperate. "We seek an alliance. Your enemies are also a threat to us. Help us understand them, and we will save you and your ship," Ilithia proposed, her eyes reflecting a universe of possibilities. Ilara nodded slowly, the decision made in the solitude of her crippled command deck. An alliance, a chance for survival, and a new beginning. Or it could be a mere prolongation of an inevitable end. Either way, she had little choice. "I agree," she said, her voice firmer now. "Let's share our knowledge and resources. Help me get my ship to your location." Ilithia smiled, a serene, otherworldly expression. "Prepare for our arrival. We will bring you to safety, Captain Mivon. This is the beginning of a new chapter for both our peoples." As the communication ended, Ilara leaned back against the bulkhead, closing her eyes. The pain was still there, but so was a spark of hope. Perhaps in this vast and indifferent universe, they had found an unexpected ally in Ilithia. Maybe, just maybe, there was a chance for survival after all. The Valkyrie's Sorrow trembled as the alien vessel, Ilithia's ship, drew close. Its form was elegant, a delicate dance of light and shadow, casting an ethereal glow that seemed to ripple through the very fabric of space. The ship's design was unlike anything Ilara had seen, an amalgamation of sleek curves and shimmering surfaces, as if the essence of the stars themselves had been woven into its structure. Ilara, still battered and bruised, watched through the viewport as the alien vessel docked with her own. The airlock hissed open with an almost musical quality, and Ilithia appeared, her presence both commanding and serene. She moved with an otherworldly grace, her form shimmering with the faintest hint of luminescence. "Welcome aboard," Ilithia's voice echoed softly through the corridor, her tone carrying the weight of ancient wisdom and unspoken promises. "Your ship is in grave condition. We must act swiftly to ensure your survival." Ilara nodded, grateful yet apprehensive. "We have little time. The enemy will not rest, and neither can we." Ilithia gestured for Ilara to follow, leading her through the labyrinthine halls of her ship. The interior was a stark contrast to the Valkyrie's sorrow, crisp, clean, and filled with an otherworldly light that seemed to bend and weave around them. The walls were adorned with symbols and patterns, a tapestry of alien lore and cosmic art. It was as if they were stepping into a legend, a place where the past and future danced in a harmonious symphony. As they moved deeper into the ship, Ilithia explained, "We are the Nyla, a people who have traversed the stars for millennia. Our ancestors forged alliances with many, but few were as brave as your kind. We understand the burdens you carry, the fires that burn in your heart." Ilara listened intently, the words resonating with a strange familiarity, like the echoes of a long-forgotten tale. "Our enemies are relentless," she replied, her voice tinged with the harshness of reality. "They seek not just our destruction, but the annihilation of all we hold dear. They are cunning, ruthless, and they do not fear death." Ilithia's eyes, like pools of stardust, reflected the light of distant galaxies. "We know of such foes. Our ancestors faced similar trials, and in their darkest moments they found strength in unity and wisdom in the unknown. We shall share our knowledge, our technology, and our spirit with you. Together, we will forge a path through the darkness." They reached a chamber at the heart of the ship, a place where the boundaries of reality seemed to blur. The walls were lined with ancient artifacts, their surfaces glowing with a faint, pulsating light. In the center of the room stood a crystalline structure, its facets catching the light and refracting it into a mesmerizing dance of colors. "This," Ilithia said, her voice a whisper in the cosmic silence, "is the nexus. It is a gateway, a conduit between our worlds. With it, we can bridge the chasm between our peoples, sharing knowledge and power." Ilara approached the nexus, feeling its energy resonate with her own, as if it recognized her pain and her resolve. "How do we use it?" she asked, her voice steady with newfound determination. Ilithia smiled, a gesture that seemed to span the ages. "You must trust in the bond we are forging, Captain Mivon. Place your hand upon the nexus, and let your essence merge with ours. It is a ritual of connection, a pledge of alliance. Through it, you will gain not just our technology, but the wisdom of our ancestors, the stories of our battles and our victories." With a deep breath, Ilara extended her hand towards the nexus. As her fingers brushed against its surface, a surge of energy coursed through her, and the room was filled with the soft hum of ancient power. Visions flashed before her eyes. Battles fought under alien suns, alliances forged in the crucible of war, and the timeless dance of creation and destruction. It was a tapestry of existence, a story that spanned the cosmos and time itself. When the vision faded, Ilara stood before Ilithia, her heart heavy with the weight of the knowledge she had absorbed. "What now?" she asked, her voice barely more than a whisper. Ilithia placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Now we begin. Together, we will learn, we will fight, and we will endure. The path ahead is fraught with danger, but with our combined strength, there is nothing we cannot overcome." As they prepared to return to the Valkyrie's sorrow, Ilara felt a profound sense of purpose. The void around them was still dark, but within her, a light had been kindled, a spark of hope that would guide her through the darkest of nights. The alliance with the Nyla was more than a pact of survival. It was a covenant of destiny, a promise of a future forged in the fires of unity and resolve. The rejuvenated alliance marked a pivotal moment in Ilara's struggle. As the Valkyrie's sorrow was tethered securely to Ilithia's radiant ship, their crews worked seamlessly, a symphony of movement and urgency. Mechanics from both races shared tools and expertise, stitching the war-torn fabric of Ilara's vessel back together. Meanwhile, strategists gathered around holographic displays, weaving plans and contingencies into the fabric of their shared mission. In this whirl of activity, Ilara found herself in the ship's sanctuary, a room pulsating with the energy of Nyla's ancient wisdom. Ilithia joined her, bringing with her a serene calm that contrasted sharply with the relentless pace outside. "This place," Ilithia began, gesturing to the ornate carvings that spiraled along the walls, "is where we come to connect with our ancestors. The carvings tell stories of old, lessons learned in blood and starlight." Ilara traced her fingers over the intricate patterns, feeling the pulse of history beneath her touch. "Your people value their past deeply. It guides our future," Ilithia affirmed, her voice a melody of reverence and strength. "Each line, each curve holds a memory, a tale of what was and what might be. Like the baobab gathers water in its vast trunk to endure the savannah's heat, we gather knowledge to endure the cosmos's trials." As they spoke, a technician rushed in, his expression tense. "Captains, the sensor grid has detected an anomaly. Something vast is emerging from the nebula near the third quadrant." Instantly, the sanctuary's tranquil air gave way to the sharp tang of urgency. Ilara and Ilithia hurried to the command center, where the crew was already assembling data. On the main display, an immense shadow loomed, its edges flickering with a strange, unnatural light. "It's not a ship or any known natural phenomenon," one of the Nyla scientists explained, her brow furrowed in concentration. "Could it be them?" Ilara asked, her voice tight with anticipation. Ilithia nodded. "It is likely. The energy signature corresponds to the tales of the darkening, a force that consumes light, devouring stars and the life around them. We need to confront it," Ilara decided, her resolve hardening like the celestial metals that formed the ship's hulls. "Indeed, but wisely," Ilithia advised. "Our ancestors teach us that the mightiest rivers carve the landscape not through force, but by persistence. We must be the river, Captain Mivon." Their preparation was swift. Vessels were readied, weapons primed, but above all, alliances strengthened. The crews of both ships met, exchanging not just ammunition but also stories, each personal tale weaving a stronger bond between them. As they approached the nebula, the darkness grew, not just in the void, but also within, a creeping dread that sought to quench their newly kindled hope. Ilara stood beside Ilithia at the helm, their figures bathed in the soft glow of the console. "Remember the baobab?" Ilithia whispered as the anomaly loomed closer, its vastness a suffocating blanket over the stars. Ilara nodded, recalling the stories Ilithia had shared. "It stores its strength for the dry season," she murmured. "We too have gathered our strength, stored our resolve. We will endure." As they entered the nebula, the darkness swirled around them like a living thing. Sensors flickered, lights dimmed, and for a moment, the vast loneliness of space pressed in on them. But the Alliance held firm, their shared spirit a beacon in the engulfing night. Together they moved forward, not just as two crews, but as one force united by a common cause. The darkness might be vast, but the light they carried within them was small yet steadfast, a defiant spark against the looming shadow. With each passing moment, they wove their determination into the fabric of the nebula, a tapestry of light against the dark, each thread a story of survival and unity. As their ships pierced the nebula's enigmatic shroud, Ilara and Ilithia surveyed the ominous spectacle unfolding before them. The anomaly, now pulsating with a menacing rhythm, seemed to challenge the very essence of their courage. "Look to the patterns," Ilithia suggested, pointing to the sensor readings that danced like fireflies on the screen. "In the old tales, our ancestors watched the stars to predict the rains. Now we must discern the patterns in this darkness to anticipate its movements." Ilara nodded, her eyes sharp with focus. The data morphed into coherent forms under her scrutiny, revealing potential weaknesses and strategies. "It's like the ancient hunters deciphering the tracks of a great beast," she reflected aloud, her voice steady despite the surrounding chaos. The crew's response was a symphony of precision and haste. They adjusted their approach, aligning their ships to exploit the revealed vulnerabilities. Their movements a dance choreographed by the wisdom of countless generations. Ilithia, observing their progress, turned to Ilara. "In my homeland, there's a tale of the spider Ananse, who spun webs so fine they could ensnare the wind. Let us weave our own web here, in this expanse, to capture this shadow." Inspired by the metaphor, Ilara directed her crew to deploy a network of energy nets, designed to disrupt the anomaly's cohesion. The ships released streams of luminescent threads, which spread across the expanse like the intricate strands of a spider's masterpiece. As the nets activated, a shudder ran through the anomaly. It writhed and twisted as if in protest, its form blurring and then sharpening as it fought against the constraints of the glowing web. Within the command center, a murmur of anticipation rose among the crew, their faces lit by the eerie light of the display. "Now watch," Ilithia said, her voice a low hum. "See how it struggles but grows weary. Every creature, every force, even those born of the darkest depths, tires in time." Ilara's command was crisp, her authority undisputed. "Increase the energy flow to the nets. Tighten the web. We do not merely trap it, we tame it. Draw the fury from it as a charmer coaxes the venom from a snake." The ship trembled under the strain, the power systems humming with the effort of sustaining the net. Outside, the anomaly's thrashing grew less fierce, its movements sluggish, the vibrant nets draining its strength, its menacing pulse slowing. In this pivotal moment, Ilara felt a deep connection to her crew and their allies, bound by a shared resolve. This unity, she realized, was their true strength, more potent than any weapon in their arsenal. Turning to her ally, Ilara shared a look of mutual respect with Ilithia. "Your stories, they remind us that wisdom is a lantern in the dark," she acknowledged. Ilithia nodded, her eyes reflecting the starlight. "And courage is the fire that fuels it," she added. As the anomaly weakened, its core slowly became visible, a dark heart encased in a writhing mass of energy. "Prepare to extract the core," Ilara ordered, her voice echoing through the command center. "It holds the answers we seek, the secrets of this shadow." Technicians worked feverishly, adjusting the energy parameters and stabilizing the containment field to secure the anomaly's core. With a final surge of power, the core was dislodged, drawn out from the diminishing shadow like a pearl from the depths. As the core stabilized within their ship, a collective breath was held, and then released in relief and triumph. They had faced the unknown, and though the path ahead remained veiled in mystery, their alliance had turned the tide, revealing not just the weakness of their adversary, but the profound strength found in unity. With the dark heart now captured, their mission took on a new phase: analysis and understanding. This battle was but one in a war of many fronts, but today they had woven a tale of their own, one of innovation, bravery, and an unbreakable bond. They were ready to face whatever challenges awaited, their spirits fortified by the knowledge that together they were unyielding. Following the containment of the Dark Heart, the alliance between Ilara's crew and the Nyla deepened. Now more than ever, their combined efforts were akin to the communal dances of Earth's ancient tribes, each step and beat crucial to the harmony of the whole. In the subsequent days, the Valkyrie's Sorrow and Ilithia's ship orbited a remote celestial body, its barren landscape serving as a silent witness to their collaboration. Their immediate task was to decipher the secrets held within the anomaly's core, a task that demanded the utmost precision and care. Ilara and Ilithia, alongside their top scientists, gathered in the laboratory where the core was secured under a field of pulsating energy. The core itself was a marvel, a swirling mass of darkness flecked with stardust, each speck a frozen moment in time. "As the baobab holds water, so does this core hold its secrets," Ilithia remarked, observing the core through the protective barrier. "We must approach with respect, as one might approach a wise elder in the village square." Ilara nodded, her eyes never leaving the core. "Let's begin with a passive scan. We need to understand its structure before we attempt to interact with it directly." The scanning process was meticulous, echoing the careful preparations of a ritual. As the data collected, patterns began to emerge, revealing complex layers of energy and matter interwoven in ways that defied their understanding of physics. "It's like a fabric made from the night itself," one of the technicians muttered, transfixed by the display. Ilithia smiled slightly. "In my world, there is a story of a weaver who spun threads from the shadows of night to create a cloak that could envelop any light. Perhaps what we see here is not so different." As they delved deeper into their analysis, the core began to react, its surface rippling as if communicating in a silent language. Ilara stepped forward, her instincts as a commander guiding her. "Increase the resolution of the scan. Let's see what stories this elder has to tell." The enhanced scan revealed a lattice of energy channels, some dense and others fragile, pulsating with a rhythm that suggested a form of sentience. "Could it be alive?" one of the younger crew members asked, a note of awe in his voice. "Possibly," Ilara conceded. "Or perhaps it is something between life and mechanism, like the coral reefs of Earth's oceans, both habitat and organism." They continued their examination, and slowly, the core's secrets began to unfold. It was not merely a repository of power, but a record of its travels through the cosmos, encoded in the energy patterns. "This is a map," Ilara realized, her voice tinged with wonder. "It's showing us pathways through the stars, routes that we've never charted." Ilithia leaned closer, her expression thoughtful. "These paths may lead to the heartlands of our enemy, or they might reveal new allies, like threads connecting villages across a vast landscape." The possibilities that lay within the core's revelations were immense. With each passing moment, the Alliance's understanding grew, as did their readiness to take the next steps. They were navigators charting unknown waters, guided by the stars and the stories woven into the dark fabric of the universe. As the analysis continued, the crew prepared for whatever might come next. They upgraded their ships, fortified their defenses, and shared tales of their homes and hopes. These stories, filled with dreams and laughter, were their light against the encroaching darkness, their shared bond a constellation of trust and mutual respect. In this new phase of their mission, Ilara and Ilithia found not only the promise of future victories, but also the profound truth that in the vast tapestry of the cosmos, connections mattered most. These connections, spun from courage and curiosity, were as vital as the very air they breathed. With each discovery, each shared tale, they wove a stronger fabric, ready to face whatever the stars held in store. In the unfolding hours, the Valkyrie's sorrow and Ilithia's luminous vessel prepared for their forthcoming venture. Armed with newfound knowledge from the Dark Heart's cosmic pathways, they plotted a course toward uncharted regions, driven by the potential of confronting their formidable adversaries or discovering allies. The crew's mood was a blend of solemnity and resolve as the ships aligned with the first of the pathways revealed by the core. Ilara stood beside Ilithia on the bridge, both captains gazing into the abyss that was now their route. "As the elephant trusts its memory to guide it to ancient waterholes across vast savannas, we trust these ancient pathways to guide us through the stars," Ilithia mused, her eyes reflecting the starlight streaming through the bridge's viewports. Ilara nodded, feeling the weight of their journey's significance. "These paths are more than routes through space. They are connections through time, through histories we are yet to understand." The ships ventured forward, their engines humming a deep, resonant tone that vibrated through the decks. Crew members from both ships mingled, their earlier reservations dissolved into a robust camaraderie. They shared meals and stories, their laughter and spirited exchanges echoing through the corridors. As they traversed the first pathway, sensors suddenly alerted to an anomaly directly ahead. It was not an enemy or a celestial body, but a rift, a tear in the very fabric of space-time. "This is no ordinary rift," the lead scientist, a Nyla named Thalis, reported. "It resonates with the same energy patterns as the core. It might be a gateway." "A gateway to where?" Ilara questioned, peering at the swirling vortex of light and shadow on the main display. "Possibly to other realms, other times," Ilithia suggested, her voice tinged with both excitement and caution. "Our ancestors spoke of such thresholds, doorways that could lead to the spirits of old stars and the echoes of ancient civilizations. With careful deliberation, they decided to probe the rift. A drone equipped with sensors and cameras was dispatched, disappearing into the swirling portal. Moments turned to minutes as the crew watched, breath held, waiting for a sign, a signal. Finally, the drone's feed blinked back to life, transmitting images that defied belief. Lush landscapes sprawled beneath alien skies, cities of crystal and light perched beside verdant fields. And there were people, or beings remarkably similar, waving, seemingly aware of the drone's watchful eye. "The core has not only shown us pathways through the stars, but also through possibilities," Ilithia whispered, a sense of awe washing over her. Ilara's decision came with the weight of all her years in command. "We will go through. Prepare for transition. This is no longer a path of war, but one of discovery." The ships adjusted their bearings, aligning with the rift's pulsating heart. As they crossed the threshold, a brilliant light enveloped them, and for a moment, time seemed to suspend. On the other side, they emerged into a realm that was a vivid mosaic of life and wonder. The beings they had seen welcomed them with gestures of peace and curiosity. Their language was musical, their expressions open and friendly. Ilara and Ilithia stepped forward as representatives of their people, their hands extended in friendship. The initial exchanges were tentative but soon blossomed into enthusiastic sharing and learning. The beings called the Eloria were guardians of the rift, protectors of the pathways that connected the multitude of worlds. In this encounter, the Valkyrie's sorrow and its ally had found not the anticipated confrontation, but a bridge to a myriad of civilizations interconnected by the rift's network. They had discovered allies who viewed the universe not as a battleground, but as a shared heritage, a common tapestry of existence. As Ilara looked back through the rift at the distant speck that was her own world, she felt a profound shift within her. Here, in this encounter, lay the seeds of new stories, new hopes, tales that would one day become legends of how once, beneath infinite skies, a door was opened to unite worlds in friendship and peace. Here, the shared journey of the Valkyrie's sorrow and the Nyla would continue, woven into the vast, unending fabric of the cosmos.